So if you're a guitar player like me, it is a struggle to make any money off of your guitar. But one of the surefire things you can do is play weddings. Wedding gigs are usually pretty good money, and they're usually pretty fun. This last weekend, I had a bride and groom that wanted to do a version of the Wedding March, but they wanted like a heavier rocking version of it. So what I did is I arranged it for lead guitar, and then I set up a backing track that I was able to play over, and it turned out pretty cool. So I figured what I'd do here in this video is teach you how to play the Wedding March, also teach you how you can embellish this and kind of boost it up to your own skill level, because you might be a beginner, you might be advanced, but there's still a lot of room to inject your own style into something very simple like this. And in this video, I also have the tablatures and the chords and everything you need to play along, and I'm also including the track so you could go perform your own wedding and set this up and be a hero at somebody else's wedding as well. All right? So let's get right into it. Every one of these sections, I'm going to play it for you first at a normal speed, then I'll play it very slow, and then I'll talk you through a little bit of the things going on there. All right? So our first section is the intro, and it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4. Here it is a little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4. So all I'm doing there is I'm playing the notes of a C major chord. All right, these three notes are the notes C, E, and G. And if you played a C bar chord, you'd actually see those notes in there. So I'm just palm muting the triplet part of that, and I'm letting it ring out on the root, and then on the E, and then on the G. So one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4. Now, that will only happen once. We have something that's like that coming up, but it is a little different. So let's talk about the main theme of this song. This is going to happen quite a bunch. I think in the version I have it happening 4 times total. So here's what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Let's take that all on its own now and slow it down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So it's pretty self-explanatory. As long as you can read the tabs and use the right fingers, this is going to be very simple to work your way through. There is a little bit of position shifting in there, so you're free to rearrange this and place it, change some of these notes and where you're playing them. I just think this is very convenient for my fingers, not a lot of stretching. Pretty simple to do. There is an arpeggio coming up, though, and that I want to take a look at all on its own. Here's what it looks like going all the way up the arpeggio. All right, and that will end up going all the way to the first string. That is a C major arpeggio. That just means I'm playing the notes of a C chord just one at a time. The notes of a C chord are C, E, G, and that's all I'm doing here. C, E, G, C, E, G. It's very uplifting and grand when you ascend through an arpeggio like that. There's a few ways we could play this arpeggio, but I want you to do it like this. So that's our first finger on 8, our pinky on 12 on the low string. Then our ring finger comes in and plays 10 on A, 10 on the D, 9 on the G, 8 on the B string, and then 8 on the E string. All right? That arpeggio is going to come up a bunch in this song. Even little parts of that arpeggio are going to come up a lot in the song. So I do recommend you practice that all on its own. And I also recommend you add this extra 12th fret to it when you're practicing it so you can kind of complete the arpeggio shape. All right? Now, our theme repeats, but this time it has a slightly different ending. Right here, we're going to just jump up to 9 and end like that. So if I play the theme all the way through, the second time it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3. Right? Now, I want to talk a little bit about the rhythm here because you can go in and out of a shuffle. You can hear sometimes I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, like a bouncing swing feel. 2, bum, ba-dum. And I don't know, in my opinion, you're free to switch between a straight 8th note feel and a bouncy, swinging 8th note feel whenever you want. I think as long as you use your best judgment, you'll find out that actually the swing works really well sometimes and the straight 8th note works really well sometimes. So you might hear me bounce and give my 8th notes a little bit of a shuffle there, all right? So we've done the intro, we've done the main theme, and we've ended the theme a different way the second time, right? Here's the second ending. And now we have a revision of our intro. So here's what it sounds like all on its own. It goes 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4. So you can hear the ending of that. You already know how to do. The beginning, though, starts on this C note from my arpeggio, and all I do is 1, and then I do 2 triplet 3 all the way up that arpeggio. 2 triplet 3. 1, 2 triplet 3. Then 4 triplet 1, and then I continue the arpeggio from the third string. 2 triplet 3. So 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3. Then it's back to what you already know. 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 triplet 1, 2 triplet 3, 4. Then back to the main theme. Bum, 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 bum. End it with both endings. So there's the first ending, and now here's the second ending. Now I have my bridge section. Okay, the bridge section is very easy. Here's what it sounds like all on its own. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, a 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time, very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, a 3, 4, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't think that takes too much explaining. It's pretty simple. I'm using my middle finger on the 10th fret there for that little shape. And then the only thing that's weird here is right here, I end up doing a lot of motion just on the third string. So here I'm in 9th position, and then I jump back to 7th position, then instantly I jump back to 6th position, and then I jump back to 7th position. So that can be a little hard sliding around on one string, but I still think it's fairly easy. After that bridge section, you do go back to your main theme with both endings again. And then after that, we're going to go back to the bridge section. 1, 2, da-dum, bum, 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 dum, da-dum, dum, 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 da-dum, dum, 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 da-da-dum, dum, da-dum. Now, in the backing track I gave you, here's where I slow things down just to give it a little more weight at the end. And it's the exact same theme one last time with both endings, except the second ending, I just end like this. I don't even give them the satisfaction of actually completing the theme. I just end up going into this bend up to the 9th fret and back to 5. Okay? So what I want to talk to you about here, now that you've got all the basic ideas of how this actually sounds, is I want to talk to you about how do you embellish this, right? How do you make it sound less boring? Right now we're just doing one note at a time. And the answer to that is always simple. Just stop picking everything. Start bending things, start sliding to things, sliding up, sliding down. Literally anything but picking the note will make things sound good. So the first thing I'm going to think about is what are some notes that are already in this little box that I'm using that I can start adding in more of what we need. So for example, like I go from this note to this note. Couldn't I just add a trill onto those notes? Take a listen. Right, so I didn't even add in a new note from the song. I just said, hey, this note's already in the song. Let's try trilling on it. And let's hear how that sounds, all right? So that sounds kind of nice. Or I could do, what if I found another note from the scale, right? The other note from the C major scale is this D note right here. So I could do like a hammer on and a pull off, and then pull off back to that note. Okay, let's look at this part on the second string right here. Those three notes, dum, dum, dum. What I could do is I could just slide up to that note and then come back. And I think that's a little bit more, I think that sounds nicer. Or try it with a bend instead. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a little more soulful, right? It's a little less guitar-y. Right? And then let's work our way down to the third string. What could we do here to make things interesting? This note to this note to that note. Well, how about I play my pinky note and then I play my first finger and then I do like another trill hammer-on pull-off thing. and then slide down. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right? Vibrato too, adding vibrato in on the notes that are going to ring out, and giving them a little bit of wiggle so they don't just sound out there dead. That makes a big difference in how something sounds. So the version I recorded that I linked to in the description, I didn't really plan out where I was going to do a trill, where I was going to do a hammer-on, where I was going to do a slide. As a guitar player, you're going to put those things in when you feel like putting them in. But I definitely did work through a few different options, what actually works here, because it's easy to get lost. So I did prepare a few little of those moves when I actually recorded it. That way I could kind of pick and choose. Oh, I'll do the bend move. Oh, I'll do the slide move. But I'll be honest with you, I can't think that fast. I get in a lot of trouble when I try to bend and slide when I'm improvising because it takes a little planning. Sometimes your finger might end up in a spot where you can't get to the next note. So I advise you do a little homework ahead of time, prepare yourself a few bags of, a few tricks for your bag, and then you can kind of pull out of that bag of tricks whenever you're doing something like this. So, very traditional guitar lesson here for you. I don't do a lot of these on my channel, but I did figure this is something that you could download, take to a gig, make a few $100s off of it, and really have like an impressive performance. I mean, everybody loved this. They didn't really think, it's not very traditional. You expect the church organ or the classical guitar, but this was cool. I mean, they really enjoyed it, and the kids liked it, and the old people liked it. So, putting a new spin on something very, very, very old, I think it sounds kind of cool. Now, as far as the chords are concerned, I'm not going to go into detail as far as, what is the chord theory for this, but I have included the chords with the tablature. And if you wanted to have somebody back you up on this, you could play the full chords, but in the track that I've given you here, it's just power chords. So you can see instead of an A minor chord, I'm just playing an A power chord. And instead of a B power chord, instead of a B7, I'm playing just a B power chord. Okay, so you can use that if you want to play with another musician, or you can play just along on your own. So thanks for watching this video. My name is Jake, and if you liked this, please like, subscribe. I have a Patreon account if you'd like to financially support these videos, and you can find the link to that in the description. I will see you soon.